Said I gotta tell. If I don't tell, you will never know. Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? And did you have to pay that fine that you've been dodging all the time? Are you still dizzy? Oh, yeah. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Oh, stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over,
Peace. This is the Touré Muhammad Show, and I'm your host.
I'm Linda Sissy Perez, your co-host of the show that talks to shakers and movers who have knowledge, experience, and resources to help you do for self. This is a solution-oriented show.
Come have a seat. No need to ask. As long as I have a bowl of bean soup, you've got half.
Welcome everyone to the Touré Muhammad Show, and get prepared to hear about the greatest story ever told. Right about now, what I'm going to do is tell you all the things that we're into. Okay, once upon a hurry somewhere in the future, we didn't have to worry or somebody would shoot you. Excellence, yes y'all, we all that. Business, real estate, and actual facts. Actually, that's the tip of it. Financial gifts with it. Spiritual advancement, we're here to uplift. We're here to celebrate your success and give it back so everybody and their mama know what to shop at. You like that? I love that. We do too. You can change your condition when you change you. Yeah, so sit back, relax, and let your conscience be free. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Brother Touré.
Yes, yes, yes. Greetings, peace, and love, and blessings. Beautiful black people. Since you've been away.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's going on, beautiful black people? Hello, world. Welcome to the Touré Muhammad Show. I hope you're doing well today. I hope that you are happy and pleased and blessed because you're on the top side of the earth. Today, We have my wonderful co-hosts in the building. Not this building. She is in her building. Oh, what's going on?
I know,
Turn the
don't you hear
laptop
the
down.
repeat?
Oh, that's me this time. Man, it's been a long time, man. I got to get back in the swing. Thank you, sir. So listen, what's going on, Linda Perez, Sissy?
Nothing much. As usual, working hard, getting ready for tomorrow. We're creating an event for the children in the community from 1 to 3,
Okay,
where they
let's
can
let's do
come
an
and get
intro. Let's do an intro
delicious.
first. You go right into it. You ain't.
Uh,
Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Let's introduce what's going on. How you been doing? What's going on? What's happening with this hair today? It's different today. It's like you got something else
Ah,
going on.
I got my hair locked.
You got it
So,
locked.
yeah,
It's lock.
Trying to get
locked,
like Ron up
locked.
there.
Right, turn up then, sissy.
So it took 2 days.
Hey, she was gone for two
Okay.
days, man. She was gone for 2 days getting.
11 to 12. It
Yeah,
was a
that's
long
right.
process. Um, but that long process is done. I've been thinking about it for 2 years, so I finally did it.
She finally did it, man. She got the locks up. I was sitting there Father's Day all by myself,
Congratulations.
all alone.
Congratulations.
Thank
Well, she
you.
was getting it locked up. So that's beautiful. Man, so man, it's been a minute, man, since it seemed like it's been forever, ever, man. But it's only been about 4 weeks. But it's good to be back here in the cockpit. And so, of course, now you just go into the announcements. We want people, man, if you tuning in, man, like and share and let the world know that the Touré Muhammad show is on today here on What's in It for the Black People Media. We got a great show as always. We got some good stuff to talk about, so we want to make sure that you tune in. So talk about tomorrow. You're doing something wonderful over there at the Woodline where the Sissy's Taco Bar pop-up is.
Yes, I'm so excited. We are doing our first kickoff for our children. It takes a village. And so Sissy Taco Bar is just more than tacos. So we want to create, when we get our own brick and mortar literacy program for our community where they can come get books, do book reports. So we're kicking this off tomorrow where children can come in and receive tacos for $1.50, juice for 50 cents, just so they can come and enjoy storytelling. So we have a young lady that's well known. I know she's what school is that? Betty Shabazz. She used to do
Mm-hmm.
storytelling down there. So she'll be coming here doing storytelling. She's going to be engaging Spanish and English, but getting them engaged in the storytelling. So that's what's up. And I want kids to know. I want children to know children from their own community. Because I know when my boys see people from their community or from their school, they get excited. Or if we go to the movies, they get excited because they know someone. So that's that piece right there. So they're gonna come out, just enjoy some good tacos, maybe do a couple of board games before their readings kicks off. So I'm excited. So
That's
if you got
what's
any
up.
children that are at home or you want to bring them out for a day activity where it actually can save you a lot of money, but they can come out and get food, entertainment, and play some games with people from the community.
So we got Mama Eddie McLeod Armstrong that's going to be doing the storytelling. And, of course, you know those Sissy's tacos are going to be flaming. Now, you know the adults love tacos and appreciate them, but you just don't know how much the children love Sissy's tacos as well. Them
Yeah.
turkey tacos are flaming.
Yes.
Now, listen, let's talk about this for a quick second because I think this is a very wonderful thing that you're doing. The chicken for the tacos, the chicken tacos and the jerk tacos, you are now getting halal meat, halal chicken to make those delicious tacos. And talk first about how much more it costs, right? It's a higher price to get halal meat, and then why that's important.
It is a higher price. You can pay between 130 to almost 149, depends on that week or when you go to pick it up. But I chose halal because we are what we eat, and the way they sacrifice or pray over these animals, what they feed, no steroids, no antibiotics. And I believe in giving my community quality food. So if I'm not going to feed it to my family, I'm not going to feed it to my community. So we have switched over just because I'm moving in a different direction as well in life with health, with eating choices. And so that's what I want to bring to the community. I know we get a lot of some people that know what halal is we're undercharging, but it's not about making a dollar all the time. It's about educating and getting people to switch over and kind of giving that piece while people can still enjoy delicious tacos. Um, and so that's where we're at, Touré. I just want to bring something different. Most people love our tacos. They come back. We then have people that repeat it the same day, 2 or 3 times. I had one lady, she's like, "You are a drug dealer selling tacos." I laughed. I thought that was funny. She said, "Whatever you put into these tacos, you got us hooked." So it's just great quality and it's fresh. It's and fresh food and good quality food. And
Right. And
Juneteenth,
so
we built it.
those for people who don't know, halal is it's a similar term like people are familiar a little bit more maybe with kosher, right? And halal is a way that food is killed, meat is killed and prepared according to Muslim law. So there is no huge machine apparatus where meat where the animals are on a conveyor and just being slaughtered, but there is a process where there's prayer said over it. It is very much more humane, and it actually produces a different type and quality of meat. And you got to come taste it to see the difference. But you can actually taste it, and it's very different. So we encourage you all to come and sample, so all the Muslims will know, and people who are Jewish, can feel comfortable eating it as well. But and then people who want and talk about eating clean, then you can, but you still eat meat. Then you can come get this halal tacos and the jerk or the chicken tacos, and you'll be absolutely amazed. All right, so let's talk a little
Absolutely.
bit about the Juneteenth. Juneteenth was off the
Yes,
chain at the
yes.
Woodline.
It was, and I'm so proud of my team. But this is what takes place with training, being a great leadership, and constantly keep being repetitive. Our goal, we had meetings prior, we executed our goal, we did it, Torre. We may have had a little bit of hiccups. No one's perfect, but we did it and we executed people's orders less than 3 minutes turnaround. So there was no line for Sissy's Taco Bar. You might see a little bit of crowd. That crowd is gone within 5, 6 minutes. And so that was our goal to keep our line down, but keep it going, keep it moving. But we did a great job. We appreciate everyone that supported us. We appreciate the ones that did stop by, which is our associates, our friends. But Juneteenth was a beautiful event right here on the 79th. And we want to give a shout out to the Woodlawn for even putting that together, the block party. So it was
Absolutely.
great and amazing.
Yep. So 79th and Woodline was the takeover for Juneteenth. Now there's something that there's always this dynamic, right? When things become more popular, sometimes they lose their impact. And Juneteenth is a celebration of freedom, of us being freed from being enslaved. And it is also a great moment and opportunity to reflect on what we are doing with the freedoms that we have. And, there's some challenges that our community has, especially when it comes to celebrating and partying. And so I think we got to be able to address those things as we go forward, because there should not be things that are counterproductive to the idea of freedom done on the day that we're celebrating being so-called free.
I agree. I agree.
Yep.
And it was a little bit hard for me because I know I had to run Sissy Taco Bar Torre, but we always ran with the Black Mall case and then at the Pullman Park because it's always good at the what is it libation, like the whole ceremony, the prayer,
Libations.
yeah, libation. Like I missed that. Like I like when I met Case, I think that was my first time ever celebrating it. But she made an impact on why we celebrated. What was the reason? What was the purpose? I received more educational piece from that, and so it was a little hard to swallow because we wasn't with that group this year at the Pullman part. But remember, when we do events, we always got to bring the educational piece to anything that we do, trying to get the thing across.
Yep. That's
But
right. That's right.
I did miss our family. Tequila, all of them, like Chrissy, like even though Chrissy came by the Woodline, but It was a little different for us. So I was a little blue, but I was a little happy too because we were here doing something for the Woodlawn, like in our community on 79th and Avalon Park, and my kid made it on the news, so he was happy again.
Right, right. It's a good way. That's a good thing. Yep. So absolutely, there's a lot of components to it. What I'm really talking about is overall, right? We got to get those lessons in and make sure that people are reflecting on the principles and the spirit of Juneteenth. And there's something that people
Absolutely.
may not be aware of that we want to highlight. This is something I learned in my studies as a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He teaches us to dive down into the meaning of words because oftentimes you can have one thing being said by the powers that be, and it means one thing to black people and something different to another group of people listening to it. And so when we talk about Emancipation Proclamation, the root of the word emancipation means to free from mental control, but not from, to free from physical control, but not mental control. And so there was to put it in very basic terms, that was a little slick thing, right? That was a little like, okay, yeah, we're gonna let you go because it's good for the country, but we're not gonna loose you from the mental slavery that you are in. And so, and this is the struggle we're in today. This is why so many of us have and continue to act in accordance with the ideas of mental slavery and physical slavery, if you will, as well. Some of us. So, but real quick,
Yeah.
Tammy Jackson just asked, what time is the children's reading? It's from 1 to 3 p.m.
But the
Well, that's
reading
the whole
starts
event.
from
That's the whole event. But then she's gonna come in that last like 45 minutes,
2:30.
about
Two
2:30,
thirty
right?
to 3:50. Yeah.
But don't wait till 2:30. Come in one time and make sure
Yeah, so you
that
can
you get
get
them
your lunch.
tacos. Enjoy the
The
food.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know she got a few little ones. So that's what's up with that. But yeah, we make sure you understand what that word means so that you can understand some of the dynamics that we face today. And I got a shout out to my man Jesse Carver. We have on this T-shirt. We are our own. Can you see the bottom solution? We are our own solution. He's been making this T-shirt for a minute now, at least a year. I think I've seen him, and I had to get one, so I got one on Juneteenth.
Mm.
I told him I
You
wanted
got
one,
one.
so he got it.
You got
Huh?
one. You got one.
Yeah, but I got two. The Juneteenth one that you wore the other day, and then I got another Juneteenth that you wore, the yellow one. So, yeah, this one I only got one of, but you got two of the other ones.
It's all good in the hood.
See, there's
It's
a
good.
principle. There's a principle, brothers and sisters, that we're taught in the Nation of Islam, and it talks about Columbus discovering the poor part of the planet Earth. And sometimes as a community, we always look for the poor parts. We don't look for the good part. Don't be like Columbus. Settle on the best part. The righteous
Yes,
settle on the
sir.
best part all the time.
Right. No.
So,
What else been good, Tori? How's everything in the real estate? Is it slow? Is it picking up? Like, what's the turnaround? Because I'm starting to think about commercial real estate piece.
and it is busy right now. Yesterday alone, I did two showings, put a contract in for a person, a family for one house, and an application in for a rental at another one, and working on an offer that was accepted by another client that we got to make sure everything goes through and cross our
That's what's up.
T's and dot our I's. So yesterday was incredibly busy. And with that, right, brothers and sisters, you all have to understand that when it comes to real estate, people are always going to be buying, selling, and renting because everybody needs a place to stay. But sometimes things are not stacked in your favor. And so if you are looking to rent a 5-bedroom, single family, detached home, it's not as readily available right now as it is at other times in the year or in this current cycle that we're in. So a lot of people are selling because they can sell and make a lot of money than normal because it's a seller's market. And everybody, I don't know if it's COVID, but a lot of people don't want to rent right now. So it's not a lot out there, but with the right person, helping you and focus, we can help you find something. You just got to be patient sometimes. So, and I know sometimes people are, they call you and they need to be out in a week, and that's a lot of pressure right there, because we got to make sure we get you in the right place. But for my people that are looking for homes, man, it's going pretty good, and they are, hopefully we're gonna get some people in the perfect place for them in the next month. And this commercial, you asked about this commercial thing, so I think that's so important. I understood it, but I'm really beginning to understand it even more. Why you have so many commercial spaces with 1 or 2 apartments on them, because if you can live and own the business where you're working, right? I remember sometimes it was certain businesses. I was like, man, how'd they get here so early? They must sleep in the back. But no, it was a house. It was a home where they had an apartment upstairs. So that's an incredible space to be in. Is Linda, are you froze? I'm just talking. She's froze. She's like, oh, she's gone. She'll be back. We'll get her right back in. But so brothers and sisters, man, opportunities that you may be able to, if you are a business owner, man, it might be opportunities for you to look at a space where you can live and work in the same space. And that might be conducive to you growing your business. And that kind of is a little bit better than sleeping in the business, which, if you got to do that, I'm not hating on that at all, because that is something that, especially if you're single and you don't have children, you can get away with that. So that's what's up with that. So hopefully Linda's going to be back, but we're going to keep it rolling until she does. At 11:30, we have Sister Touré Muhammad coming on with the final call report, and we're going to see what's going down with the final call, or what's going up with the final call, and see who's been doing what, and some of the news that you don't always get in mainstream media. You can't get everything from mainstream media. You got to have independent sources of news where you can go and get what you need. So she's going to come on and we're going to talk about that. For anybody that wants to get the digital copy of the Final Call newspaper, I want you to text 844-773-8392. Text Final Call, FINALCALL, to 844-773-8392. And you can get plugged in, man, and get that Final Call newspaper. So we're going to have Sister Touré coming up in a second. And, the internet went down, so she might not be back. So we're going to keep it rolling. That's what happens sometimes in this digital world that we're in. The internet can go down on you. And so, brothers and sisters, man, it's a quick note that I want to give to everyone, because it's something that's been on my mind lately for our business owners. I did a quick training for some folks, some restaurateurs, recently, and I wanted to show them how easy that you can produce a content for your social media pages, and you can do it really in less than 10 minutes, right? And you can do video. Right now, video, of course, we've been saying this for years now. I got some old archives, man. I was saying this 10 years ago, how video was going to be the primary source and the main thing that people are going to be using to promote on social media. And definitely that's where we are right now. So if you have the right tools, right, you can produce a video in less than 10 minutes. And so the first thing that you want to do, I want to encourage you, if you are in business or you're just trying to grow your page for whatever reason, you're building a brand, you have a blog, then one of the things that you want to do is start capturing as much video as possible. Take those moments where you're doing things in your business and just do a quick video. It can be a 10-second video. It can be a minute video. Maybe sometimes you just keep it running and put it in the corner somewhere. And so, but the thing is, if you capture enough video, then you can have some content that you can produce some of these short videos with. You see them on TikTok, you see them on Instagram. And if you you can add edit to it. You can do things to it to even hype up, even if it's just a basic video. But just something as simple as saying welcome to your restaurant, right? Have your team say it out loud and shout it out. That thing you can put a headline on it. You can put some music behind it, right? You can do put some emojis. It's all kind of stuff that you can do, man, to make that video a little bit more interactive. And I show people how to do that in less than 10 minutes. It's something that I've learned as a student of digital real estate. This is something, even though there's some principles that I understand and that I use, and I've been able to, make money online doing stuff digitally. The most important thing is to learn from study from experts. And I often would learn and study from people who were not in our community. But I've been blessed to get connected with Brother Ben X and the whole ABS tribe and the BWO Black World Order piece. And man, you got some dynamic young people who know how to move things in incredible ways. I'm talking about making nice money. I'm talking about 6-figure income earning just doing things online. There's something to be said about manual labor, about doing something with the sweat of your brow and, getting out there and building a house or doing whatever it is physically. There's some value in that, and I respect that and love that. But some of these young folks, man, are showing people, and I bear witness to it because I've been doing it, but not to the degree they are, to make tons of money with just using your phone, man, and your fingers. I'm talking about, again, how to make 50,000 in 30 days. And this is not, the get rich quick type stuff. This is not, okay, you can do this if you sell my product only type stuff. This is showing you how to take your talents, your gifts, your skills, and to build the business that you have dreamed of building, but just giving you the tools that you need to do it to promote your business online. So I see a lot of things that people can take advantage of. And DM me or hit me up, text me at 773-531-8798 if you want to get more information about that. I can show you what that is. So, but that's what's up with that. And we're going to go to this break in just a minute here. And when we come back, we're coming back with our sister Touré Muhammad, so we can talk about what's going on in the Final Call newspaper, some of the latest news. Always something informative and important for you all to be connected with, for us all to be connected with. And shout out to my brother Hakeem, who is focused on moving 1,000 final calls this week. So we wish him success in that movement and what he's doing to educate and bring some knowledge and light and life to the people. And that's what's up with that. So, brothers and sisters, if, as I mentioned before, y'all know that I'm doing the real estate piece, and if you need, you have any questions about buying, renting, or selling, then if I don't have the answer, then, and I put my all into it. I focus and I learn, I study. But if I don't know the answer, then I got some people around me with 20 plus years in the game who can get whatever answer it is that you need to help you with the move that you're trying to make. So we look forward to helping folks with that, man. And I don't know if my brother is still listening, but shout out to Salim Wakil. Man, I love that brother, man. I love your show, man. I enjoy it, and always very intellectual and informative. And so with that, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Touré Muhammad show, and we'll have on our sister Touré Muhammad. Peace.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
In
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
What are y'all takes on blended families?
Meaning white people? Or what?
No, she mean like you got kids, this person got kids, y'all get together and bring the whole family together. I don't know. I have zero experience with it. I imagine it could be challenging. Especially, I think the older the children are, I think the more challenging it could be. I think if it's little children or something, you can kind of explain it to them, and they may like grow up together and kind of in that same space where this is mom, this is dad type thing. But if you talk about older kids where they literally have a mom or dad, another person like that has been in their lives, or when they're older, and you're like, oh, now this is your stepbrother, stepsister. Like, nah, we like 17. Like, I'll bone her.
And if this family don't work, you can just give me to the game anyway. Ain't no other, it ain't gonna matter. No woman will ever be important. I'm not being an ass. I'm serious. In my mind, the value of that kind of a commitment is family. I got that already. So now we just chilling. So you ain't gonna really know my children.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's In It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Check, 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 check. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. Oh, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. I'm telling you just, I like it like this. Keep this just like this. And you should know by now. I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it like this. Yeah. Satisfied by my soul. Oh yeah. Satisfied by my soul. Every little action.
Every action gives a reaction. What's going on, brothers and sisters? We are back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show. And let me real quick shout out. We got Bootsy. Bootsy gave a shout out, and Tager and Press Shaka. Man, Shaka, let's do that. I'm going to let my people know if she want to do a bike ride, man, and I'm with that. And we can hook up anytime. My bike is tuned up and it's ready to go, man. I got all my stuff, man. I got my helmet. People sometimes tease me because I got a helmet on, but okay. All right, hey, listen here. This right here, this all I got, man. This is gonna last, but this hopefully is gonna last even longer. So I want to protect my noggin. I don't know what you got in your head, but my head is important, and I know Shaka wears his helmet too. Boosie, what's up? So listen, we are happy to have Sister Starla here with us today. And hold on, I'm trying to take you off mute. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Tory. Good to be back with you.
Man, absolutely, man. It seems like it's been 42 years.
I know it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been about a month. We were on the little hiatus, the little break. So, man, we're excited to be back. And, of course, man, always to bring some news and reviews from the Final Call newspaper. And so, first, how are you? How is the family? What's been going on?
Well, praise be to Allah, we are doing well. It's interesting that you mentioned bike riding because that's been an activity my husband and I have taken up over the last few weeks, trying to get out and about, getting a little cardio in.
Go ahead.
So it was funny that first day though, Brother Touré, because it's been a minute. And when I say a minute, I'm talking about a few decades since I have actually gotten on and ridden a bicycle. So that first outing was a little bit challenging, but since then, we've gotten in some good exercise, got some trails around where we live, got a couple of hills that are challenging, but it's been wonderful getting out there, getting some exercise and, some fresh air and spending quality time. So,
man, that's beautiful. That's what's up. Well, please give your husband the greetings for me. And
I sure will.
Man, we take certain things for granted, but walking and bike riding, of course, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said walking is the best form of exercise. Right. And bike riding, I don't know where he put that in the mix, but it's definitely a nice, easy way, right? Because walking, you can get the body moving and it's not as much pressure as running and some of the high impact stuff that we do. So biking is definitely that low impact, but it gets you working, boy. So
exactly, yes, sir.
That's what's up. So I look forward to doing some bike rides. We did a bike ride. Therefore, I did a bike ride recently, and that's what Shaka's referring to.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I've seen a few pictures on social media out there, but I think the lakefront. That's right. Out there. Yes, sir.
So you gotta let people know right now, Sister Starla, because I'm not at the point where people just look at me and say, "Hey, you've been working out." I gotta let people know. But inshallah, they're gonna be like, "Hey, man, I see you."
Exactly.
People start commenting. So, But anyway, definitely get that exercise in, move that body. And Sister Starla, I'm gonna tell you, listen. I know who the MGT are, so this is nothing about the MGT. But I'm telling you, this bowl of bean soup that I made, I did it this morning. Actually, I cooked the beans last night, and then got up and put all my vegetables in and sauteed them and threw it in there. Ooh, it's fire. It may not touch the MGT, but it's a fire bowl. I just tasted a little bit of the what do you call it, the juice, the liquor, whatever.
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
Just so I can make sure it was right. Ooh, I can't wait till the night. So I think I'm gonna do it at least 2 or 3 days, just nothing but bean soup.
Bean soup, yes, sir.
Get that nutrients in us that we need to combat COVID, to combat this radiation and all this stuff, technology we got all around us, and and to stay healthy. So that's our medicine right there.
It is.
Our food is our medicine.
That's right. I'm still trying to keep up. Praise be to Allah. Coming out of Ramadan, I think I mentioned on the show I had started going into eating every other day.
Yes.
So I've been maintaining. So the first couple of weeks were definitely challenging, but now I think I've reached a point that I'm used to it, and the main thing is on that non-eat day is drinking, plenty of water. I still got to get my coffee in. I'm a coffee junkie.
That's right.
But,
me too.
And for those, in the audience who are like, wait, every other day, what's going on? I know Brother Touré has mentioned it before, but the 2 best books that you can get, I know, we've seen some of the advertisements in terms of, some of the eating and diet plans that are out there, and with intermittent fasting, but you want the real deal, How to Eat to Live, books 1 and 2 by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And things about those two books, Brother Touré, is that the articles are short. It's in a simple language. It's straight and to the point. you can literally just take one of those articles and just read an article a day. And before you know it, you're done with book one. You leap into book two, but there's so much wisdom and guidance in there. And a lot of what we see happening is we see a lot of the scientists, nutritionists, dietitians, and whatnot really bearing witness to what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave to us decades ago in terms of, the best foods to eat, how to even prepare, the best way to prepare our foods and whatnot. So, brothers and sisters, we can do it. That's not to say we don't have what we call our cheat days where we may indulge in something, that we like. But the main thing, particularly like you were saying, with our health and our well-being, keeping up, just our bodies. We only have one.
That's
and
right.
When that begins to break down, boy, we can be in a world of problems. So, take it a day at a time. That's what I did. I finally got to a point where the light bulb finally, it was like, you know what, Sister Starla, you got to make a change. So I'm feeling good. Like I said, been doing some bike riding, doing a little bit of weight training. So
Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. That's I was doing every other day before Ramadan, and Ramadan slipped me up a little bit, so I got to get back on it. And one thing I love the mention of the How to Eat to Live's book 1 and 2. Man, look at the genius of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Sister Starla, in terms of how the book is written. You mentioned those short chapters. Now, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a very intelligent, intellectual person that could that dealt with the wisest, right? But when he spoke to us and when he wrote articles, he wrote it in very simple terms that it makes it even hard for a fool to misunderstand.
Exactly.
So, and now we look at the climate of the, there was an intellectual group, right? Especially in the 50s and 60s that were really getting a great education in the educational system. But you look at the educational system now, and there's some trouble going on, right?
Yes.
And so, but even just with a basic 3rd, 4th grade reading level, you can get some high wisdom from these books that if you don't respect the simplicity of the wisdom, you think it's not deep enough for you. But it's very simple things that you can do, and very simple foods to stay away from, and very simple foods to eat that will have you living a long quality of life. And we're seeing the results of it now where, man, the body is made to keep moving, and it doesn't have to be worn down in your 40s and your 50s and 60s.
Exactly. And, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in those books, How to Eat to Live, he gives us a blueprint. For example, he talks about, if you are used to eating 3 meals a day, and many of us, myself included, I grew up where, it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe even a after school snack, and then you had dinner. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, though, in one of the articles, talks about, if you're used to eating 3 meals a day, you don't want to jump into, now I'm going to try to eat every other day, or I'm going to start trying to fast. But he talks about, okay, cut down to 2 meals a day. And then once you get acclimated and your body gets acclimated to those 2 meals a day, then you go into your 1 meal a day, and he prescribes what is the best time for that meal. So, again, everything is a process. And if you don't have those books right now, brothers and sisters, never fear. You can log on to finalcall.com. Every week in the Final Call, we do publish an article from How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So you can start there by reading the Final Call, getting that article. And then at a later date, when you can order those books, store.finalcall.com. Or I know there are some local Black businesses, Brother Touré, in the city, the Foodie Spot, I believe, being one of them on Stony Island across from Mas Mariam, that you can pick up copies there as well of How to Eat to Live, books 1 and 2 by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, they always talk about what is it, whatever, hot girl summer, hot boy summer, or what have you. But, the weather is now nice. get out there and walk around the block, take a spin on the bike and do something so that we can keep moving. And let's just, start to be a little bit more mindful about what we eat.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely right. And that's what we need to be doing. So let's get to it, brothers and sisters. Listen, it's both inspirational and it can be a little depressing, man, when I start messing around with some of these younger men, in their 20s, and they can't run up the block, right?
Yes.
They can't do some very basic things, and you start looking at our diet and what we're doing to ourselves. They just don't know. So these books are so incredibly important to help us to take care of this temple, this body that we have
Yes,
from
sir.
the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So with that, man, what's going on in the Final Call newspaper? And as we're talking, I'm going to try to pull up the information because I want people to know about the National Training Conference that's coming up, hosted by Grand Master Abdul Aziz Muhammad. So
Yes.
tell us what's happening in the Final Call newspaper this issue.
Sure. Yes, sir. Well, this issue, we feature on the cover a very great man, a son of Africa, and we titled it A Champion in the Liberation Struggle. And this is on the life and the legacy and the impact of former Zambian President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. And he is really one of the last, if not the last, of one of the giants of Africa in terms of not just a leader, but a leader who was a freedom fighter against the colonial yoke that the continent of Africa has been under for decades. He was the president of what was under colonial rule known as Northern Rhodesia, but he actually was one of the catalysts in fighting for independence. And of course, then the country was then named Zambia. And this brother was president from 1964 to 1991. And he recently passed, but was 97 years of age. And so this cover story is dedicated to his life and legacy. And, earlier this year, Brother Touré, we featured former president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, who also passed away as well. So slowly but surely, and, we've lost, Robert Mugabe. So slowly but surely, many of the quote unquote old guard who are responsible and were leading freedom fighters to fight, colonialism in Africa in the various countries are, we're slowly losing them. But this is a beautiful article written by staff writer, Brother Brian Muhammad. And so for those who would like more information on who Kenneth Kaunda was, definitely you can pick up your physical copy of the paper from the FOI, or of course, for those who are frequent viewers of the Touré Muhammad show, reach out to Touré Muhammad to get your issue. And of course, we have a digital copy as well. But this cover story is currently on the website as well, finalcall.com. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wrote a beautiful, beautiful letter, expressing his condolences on behalf of himself, his family, the Nation of Islam, on the passing of Dr. Kaunda. And, they had a relationship. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of course, has been on various peace missions, world friendship tours over in the motherland. And so he spoke about the relationship that he and Dr. Kaunda had in terms of him being a counselor or an advisor, taking counsel from Dr. Kaunda when the minister was over there with international Nation of Islam representative, Brother Abdul Akbar Muhammad, and trying to help broker peace in some of the situations, particularly at one point in the Sudan and then also the Congo. And what this article, Brother Touré, also really lays out is, our relationship, when I say our, the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and our relationship with our brothers and sisters in the motherland. And that dates back to, of course, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, where you had the graphic of the hands grasped across one another, where you have a brother from Africa, the motherland, reaching across and grasping the hands of a brother from the United States. So despite, some of our cultural differences, which of course we have, we are one people. And so I encourage your viewers and your listeners to get the current issue of the Final Call, to read more about this great man, and to read the words, the poignant words, the touching words by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the life and legacy of our brother, who, again, even after he left office, you had other leaders, in various African countries who would reach out to him for counsel, for advice. Because we know, because of colonialism, there's a lot of conflict among, our people in the motherland. But that, of course, we know is by design. But Mr. Kaunda, his life, his legacy, his impact of fighting for independence, throwing off the yoke of colonialism. And it wasn't just what he wanted to do for his people in Zambia, but he was also a catalyst for helping other countries on the African continent, fight and win independence as well. So a very great man, a very great freedom fighter on the African continent. And you can read all about his life, his legacy, his impact in the latest issue of the Final Call.
Man, that's beautiful. And I think it's so important for us to, undertake this study. I know a lot of times we may feel, hey, we got so many problems in America. We got so much that we're dealing with here, but there's so much that's interconnected. And if we're trying to figure out and navigate our freedom and true independence, then we have to be looking at what happened to Africa, where we came from, many of us, and also what happened to that continent after we left. Right. So people like to point out sometimes that there was some strife and disagreement, and there were some people who helped, Africans who helped to enslave us. But brothers and sisters, the exacerbation of it, the elevating of it to the levels that we see today is a huge result, a direct result of colonialism and the colonizers using what may have been basic or simple differences, that was family differences that, didn't amount to genocide. But now it's at that level in certain cases, in certain situations where tribes and stuff, we just been so torn apart. And then, of course, now we look at how we are here, right? So it's the same thing, the same animal, the same dog that bit Africa, of course, is using those same principles over here. So we got to know what's happening. And I unfortunately didn't know a lot about him. So I'm looking forward to reading in detail in the Final Call about this brother, because, with Muammar Gaddafi and others, as you mentioned, we don't have those strong, a lot of those strong ones, man, that just, they was willing to do what it took to free their country from, whether it was Spain, whether it was Italy, whether it was, of course, France and Britain, that seem to have a lot of the lion's share. Then we got to focus on that. We got to know what's going on.
Sir.
So real quick, let me mention this right quick before we go on. But I want you to hold that point. Don't forget it. But I want to make sure we don't forget July 16th through 17th. This is the 26th anniversary. The title is Preparation in the Time of Trouble, National Training Convention. The National Driven Training Plenary Session is going to start Friday, July 16th at 10 a.m. And brothers and sisters, this is, of course, it is often a lot of members of the Nation of Islam, but it's not only members of the Nation of Islam, and it's actually a multicultural event when you get a chance to engage in it, because we're talking about how to make sure that you are preparing your body and that you understand basic things about self-defense and emergency preparedness. All these things are so critical to children, the youth workshops. So it's going to be a lot of training happening at this national training conference that is hosted by our student assistant supreme captain, and he's the Grand Master. Some know him as Anthony Muhammad, but he has been recently renamed, not too recent, but still, because Anthony Muhammad has so much weight. We want to make sure y'all don't, we talking about the same person here.
Right.
Abdul Aziz Muhammad. He is an incredible man who can, I'm telling you, VSK Jiu-Jitsu is something that you need to know and understand and teach it to yourself and your children. We'll learn from him and then pass it on. But go to the VSK, JIUJITSU.com. It's the VSK Jiu-Jitsu.com. THEVSKJIUJITSU.com, or call 773-769-7017 on how to register. It's a $50 for the youth, $99 for an adult, and $175 for a couple. But this is something, brothers and sisters, for people who want to understand and learn more about some of the things that we are taught and learn in the Nation of Islam, especially when it comes to self-defense. You need to tune in and be plugged into this national training convention. All right, Sister Stala. That's our public service announcement. So let's go back to it.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to mention another couple of things about Brother Kaunda. Is he was also a founder of the Organization of African Unity that eventually became the African Union, and that just like Kwame Nkrumah, he was always looking at ways to unite the people of Africa, regardless of country or what ethnic group or tribe one may be a descendant of. He was always working toward that vision as well, as was, previous luminaries, like you mentioned earlier, Muammar Gaddafi. And again, I implore your viewers to also read the beautiful statement by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. One of the things that the minister wrote is that Kenneth Kaunda will always be remembered as a voice of reason in the midst of chaos and confusion. So he had a legacy and a history of trying to resolve conflicts among our people on the continent as well. So again, pick up your Final Call newspaper to read more about Kenneth Kaunda of Namibia.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Of Zambia, I'm sorry, of Zambia.
Zambia, right, of Zambia. And so, Sister Starla, there also is another story in the Final Call about a brother that I appreciate and admire, and he's a hip hop artist.
Yes.
Businessman, Killer Mike. He talks about entrepreneurship and the Black Bank, right? That he and a few other people have been working on and building. So, what's going on with Killer Mike?
Yes, sir. Well, this is another article in the current issue of the paper that's also available online. But our contributing writer, Sister Anissa Muhammad, had the opportunity to interview our brother recently, just with regard to, even though he's a hip hop artist, a rapper, he talks about how he always knew that he wanted to be a businessman and an entrepreneur. So for him, it's bigger than just making music. He talked about, when he was young, he didn't have any money one day. So he started cutting grass for people and doing other, small little odd jobs in order to earn some money. And he talks about how his grandmother instilled in him also the importance of supporting Black-owned businesses.
I love it. Listen, let's get into it a little bit more. We got to go into a quick break.
Okay.
And then we're going to be right back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show with our wonderful guest, Sister Starla Muhammad, managing editor of the Final Call newspaper. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP Media
sun shines. If you didn't catch the last page in the Book of Dawn, here's what you missed.
So you found that, but you also, during those times, made a conscious decision to create a base for yourself outside of the Isleys or the great artists that you tour with. And from that, the Mo Fitz Project was born. Can you tell us how and why you did the Mo Fitz Project?
Let me tell you something. I had been touring since I was 17. And what happened was Eve, your girl Eve, was doing different events around town. And I remember it was right on 47th Street.
Yeah, I think it was Blue 47.
Yeah, one of those spots. So Eve was doing something with them. So they were like, we're hiring bands. I was like, I'm going to put something together and go play locally. Let me do that. And through that situation from Eve, the Mo Fitz Project was birthed. I was like, oh, okay, this would be great to actually come home and put quality guys together and make music locally outside of the touring. I just found another joy in that. And crazy, remember Terrence Kane came up with the Mo Fitz.
Oh, did T. Kane?
Yes.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Terrence was like, you need to call it the Mo Fitz, Reese E. Mo Fitz. Use your name. This is how that name came about. It was Terrence Kane and my girl Eve Bridgeworth. She was the launching pad for that. And then she would hire me to do different events. And she started hiring me to do weddings and stuff she was doing. And then it just kind of birthed into that.
Don't forget to tune in weekdays, 9 a.m. to the Book of Dawn from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Roll Tide, y'all. Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Satisfy you, mind and soul. I made a promise, girl, to serve you right. Just give your undivided attention tonight. Come go with me. I'll take you there. Let me take you there. That's where love and fantasy will be there. Come on, baby. Yeah. Wake up to sun. It's all up to you, babe. No need you wanting for a single thing.
Yes. We are back. More of the Touré Muhammad show. We have our guest, Sister Starla Muhammad, like our regular guest. You like we appreciate you. We definitely, because it's so important to get these things from the Final Call newspaper and let people know what they're missing when they drive past a brother on the street.
That's right.
Or they scroll past it and don't click that link to get more information. Right. So Killer Mike, man, we talking about Killer Mike. So yes, you were talking about him, starting to learn how to make that money at a young age, because he wanted to get some things done. He wanted to go to Six Flags. Hey, Six Flags Six Flags in Atlanta was not like here in Chicago. Six Flags was not that far from the city. It wasn't a 2-hour drive. So they wanted to get there. He couldn't wait to get to Six Flags.
Exactly. So at a
mess
young
around,
age,
get on the bus and get to Six Flags in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. So he had that drive as a youngster. That was and he talked about his grandmother again as an example, how she talked to him about the importance of supporting Black-owned businesses, and so he had been used to doing that since a youngster. He said he's always banked Black. Which is important as well. And so he actually has a few businesses, one being the Swag Barbershop. He started that with his wife. So they've got that. And then also a collaborative effort, he and former Atlanta mayor and of course civil rights stalwart Andrew Young, and then also a Ryan Glover, founder of Bounce TV. So they came together and they started Greenwood, which is an online bank. They were originally going to launch it, I believe, earlier this year, but because of COVID, it has been delayed somewhat. But, you know, one of the things that was reported in the story that we have here by Sister Nisa Muhammad is that there's overwhelming interest. And right now they have over 600,000 people on the waiting list. So, you know, Killer Mike is, you know, talks about that initiative. And of course, at the end of the article, for those who would like more information on the Greenwood banking initiative, as well as Killer Mike's other businesses, we've got information at the end of the article. But I think one of the things that he pointed out that I thought just really stood out to me, Brother Touré, is he said, you know, the relationship between Black folks and banking has not, you know, always been a good one. And one of the things Sister Anissa talked about in the article is that the relationship between banks and Black money is not a good one. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, reports that 46% of Black households were fully banked in 2017 compared to over 77% of white households. Big banks have a history of loan denial to Black people, and the practice of redlining continues to affect Black access to loans. So I think the important lesson in that, Brother Touré, is that, you know, again, we began to support our Black institutions, you know, putting, you know, no one's saying you have to put, as we say, all your eggs in one basket, but, you know, open an account, whether it's, you know, online with a Black bank, or if you have a Black bank in your city, opening up an account there, because the more we are able to support these financial institutions, then, you know, if one of the big banks denies a business loan, then we can go to our neighborhood Black owned bank. And that should eventually, I think, become our first option. But we have to be able to support them so that they have then the capital to be able to make these business loans to our Black, business owners in the community. So one of the things you can tell, of course, Killer Mike, of course, is familiar with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he, you know, gives us a shout out in the article. And he talks about, and this is an excellent example, I think, too, Brother Touré, Killer Mike talked about a Korean friend who told him what they do in the Korean community. He said, when it's time for a great idea, they, meaning the Koreans, get in a circle of 8 to 10. They go to somebody's grandparents, somebody's parents. That money comes directly from under the mattress sometimes. It goes into building the business. All 8 of those people who want to build that business as big as possible. When that business is big enough, they replicate, scale that business over and over again. And you can look at some of the services that we continue to go, whether it's hair shops or nail shops. That methodology is proven effective. And so we've seen other ethnic groups employ strategies, but it first starts with unity. And of course, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, taught us and teaches us in, you know, the program of Doing for Self is, you know, getting 4 or 5, 8 to 10 people with like minds together in order to do what we see other ethnic groups doing. So we see that it is possible. Doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect, but it is possible. And with hard work, with unity, with diligence, it can be done. And so I think this is a very uplifting article. So again, check it out in the current issue of The Final Call, our interview with Killer Mike.
That's right. That's right. That's beautiful. And I think, you know, you got to deal with the mentality, the mindset, that we have to address and push back some of these false narratives and stereotypes and fear, right?
Yes.
So because on one hand, we have examples in our community of us working together in unity and harmony and reaching a goal and accomplishing a goal, right? Of course, the Nation of Islam is an example. The Black
Yes.
Panther Party is an example. You got Current, you got New Era Chicago. You got examples of people working together for a common cause and doing what needs to be done, right? But we got to remember, because sometimes people, have something slick to say when you talk about supporting Black-owned businesses. It's becoming more and more popular right now, right? Because the greater community, or the outside our community, people are now reinforcing what the independent, free-minded people have been saying for a long time. So now it's becoming more popular, right? So, but Black Wall Street I don't think they had to have chants and have to have rallies and talk about supporting Black-owned businesses.
Exactly.
They just did it, right? And they did it for two reasons: because it made sense, they were already together, and because they couldn't go shop anywhere else, right?
Exactly.
So, but then here now, integration comes and it gives us an opportunity to go outside of our community, and then we began to see institutions began to crumble, banks, right, and other institutions, because we weren't supporting them like we did before we got a chance to run outside of our community. And so now we have to have a rallying cry. The Asian community didn't have to have that. The Arabs didn't have to have that. Nobody else went through what we went through, and this incredible psychological, mental rape that we've been through. So we just all discombobulated.
Right. And I think as well, there's that tendency, and we've been under this, the yoke of, oppression and white supremacy that has affected us, like you were saying, our mindset, because we have a tendency to think that, well, if it's a Black business, for some reason it's going to be inferior, or the customer service, or there's always an excuse, but we give 1,000,001 excuses to businesses that are not Black owned, that mistreat us, that have higher prices, that won't hire, people that look like us to work in their stores.
That's right.
But we seem to give that a pass.
We get a pass. But that's the thing, Sister Starla. See, that wasn't said before integration.
Right.
How could it have been said? Because that's all we had. And you had excellence, right? You had incredible businesses. You had Soft Sheen. You had Johnson Product. You had all kind of stuff that we embraced it and loved it, and it was ours.
Exactly.
But we, I believe that Brainwashed, the book by Burrell, Tom Burrell.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he talks about it in this book, where when you look at the marketing aspect of what happened to us, if you look at you had the catalogs, right? And we were coming out of slavery or in slavery, and we were seeing all these things in the Sears Roebuck, the Montgomery Ward catalogs. And it was mail order. That was their Amazon back in the day, right? So you look in there, see what you want, and then you can order it. And so we could see those magazines and see those promotions and that advertisement, and it was like, wow, this stuff is great. This stuff is the best, right? And then radio came along, we heard ads, and then TV came along, and we began to see some television ads. But all this time, we was denied the opportunity to take advantage of that marketing that was going into our brain.
Right.
So the first chance we got, we went buck wild.
Exactly. I remember as a little girl, my grandmother, actually both of my grandparents, they lived in the area of Columbus, Ohio, called Mount Vernon. And there was a Black-owned grocery store, Carl Brown, that was there for years and years and years. And I remember, as a youngster going with my grandmother, if she had to go to the store, it was within walking distance to where she lived. And we would walk down, to that Black-owned grocery store. And it was open for years. Unfortunately, it's no longer, in business. But I remember that as a child. And I think just as Killer Mike talked about his grandmother instilling in him at a young age, support Black-owned businesses, I think we have to do that as well, Brother Touré, even with this generation that's coming up behind us, and even instilling in our children. I believe and I'm sure that there's, studies or reports out there that probably could talk to this, but even in our individual households, if we made a decision, once a month, I'm going to support, a Black owned business, or, next time I need a plumber or an electrician or what have you, that I want to, find a Black owned, plumbing company and what have you. And I think, the work that you do with Bean Soup Times and, Sister Cassiopeia and the work that she does and others in the community, I do think you're starting to see, and not just in Chicago, but around the country, I think more of our people being a little bit more deliberate in trying to support Black owned businesses. And, even if it's just, a couple of times a month, but I think that momentum, I believe, is growing. And I think the more that we support these businesses, the bigger that they can get. And Black owned businesses hire who? Black people.
Black people, for the most part.
And it all ties together. And, then, the income, the revenue, they're able to do more. They're able to hire more people. They are maybe able to expand, now open another brick and mortar location or expand their online operations. So, again, I think one of the other things in the article that Killer Mike said that I thought was really, interesting as well, Brother Touré, is he said, about starting off small, but then building. And he says, he quotes, I said, I can't have you building airplanes tomorrow, but that does not mean you can't build a part of what that plane needs. He said his advice is to start small and then scale up over time. I think sometimes, we look at where a big company like Amazon is now.
That's right.
At a certain point in time, it wasn't that big.
That's
now,
right.
Of course, I'm sure Mr. Bezos had some financing and some help that a lot of times is not available to our people. But I think, again, understanding that it's a process, but, we have to support and do the best that we can to uphold the businesses in our community so they can in turn expand and benefit the community as well.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. And, I'm going to take it. I want to say this. The business owners themselves have to take full responsibility for that. Right?
Yes, sir.
The business owner has to see, because Sister Starla, what I've experienced is I watch businesses fail, and then they say, well, I failed because I didn't get the support. No, you failed because you didn't tell people you were in business, right? Too often we can use some of the challenges and stereotypes as an example, right? Like, it's some businesses that said they closed down because of COVID. No, you was about to shut down. Right, because you weren't doing good business, and you weren't advertising and promoting, right? And the excuse is taken away now. You have to market and promote your business. And during this pandemic, and as we come out of it, inshallah, you have to ramp up, right? People, a lot of time, our businesses for some reason think that if you just build it, they will come.
Exactly.
No, that's a slogan that has a little bit more details to it. You have to promote. Now, if you don't have any capital to advertise your business, man, you got the internet today. You have some tools at your disposal. You have a phone. You have a cell phone. Right? I learned a long time ago from Delzino Wilson Dabriano, a Black entrepreneur. We featured him. He's been in the Final Call newspaper.
Right.
Man, he said when he started his business, he made a list of 1,000 people. And he called those people and just told them he was in business. Right. Too often we don't even tell our family and friends that we're in business.
Right.
So if our businesses take up that responsibility to market and promote to us, because that's what some of the successful businesses did. You don't find a business that's successful in our community that does not respect marketing and advertising and promotion.
Exactly. And understanding that, again, you mentioned tools such as what is available on social media, but I think, and you could speak more to this than I, but in terms of when you are conceiving of or wanting to start a business and you are developing or working on a business plan, marketing and advertising and PR should be a part of your business plan. Okay, how do I plan on getting the word out to my people? What is the best way or best medium to get that word out? Back in the day, like you were talking about, it may have been a 30-second radio spot or, putting up flyers in the neighborhood, advertising something. But we have so many tools, like you were saying, available now at our disposal. And, social media is a whole, professional niche in and of itself. So as part of your marketing strategy, you may have to have a social media expert that can tell you, okay, when it comes to Facebook, this is what the strategy should be. When it comes to Twitter, this is what the strategy should be. So it's a specialty, as you know, because that's what you do. But then you also have, sending out email blasts or, getting on shows that are pro-Black business, such as the Touré Muhammad show and maybe others, to get that word out. But it's a whole strategy that needs to be, I believe, part of, a business plan when you're thinking about going into business. No longer is it we will build it and they will come. It is, okay, I better think of how am I going to get the people to come before maybe I even build. So that way you don't have, okay, I'm open, and then you looking out there, well, where are the people?
That's right. And it's so many different strategies, right? This is business. Right. Business is war, like the most honorable, like the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, right? So, and when you look at military strategy and maneuvering, there may be different avenues and things you can take, but the thing is, you have to do something, right? Right. There are some businesses that all they are doing for marketing is Instagram and putting up videos, right? Now they may not stay there, but at least it's one place. And if you have a business and you have 20,000 people following you on Instagram, and let's say, all you need to do is sell 100 of your items a day to make a profit, right? Then you got enough right there, right? Right. And sometimes we focus on, well, man, I ain't got 100,000, I ain't got 200,000. Right. But I mean, you're not servicing and promoting and marketing to the 500 you got. Right. Exactly. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do with that many? Right. Yes, sir. Take care of the ones you have and let that grow. But yeah, it's so much. There's so many ways and things that could and should be done. And if you don't have the money starting off, just start where you at. And and put the time in. You're gonna have to learn some of that stuff. If you can't afford to hire somebody, then you have to do it.
Right. And it's amazing too. We spoke on young people earlier, but man, young people, they know this social media. So grab your niece or your nephew or your son that they know about TikTok and Twitter and not so much, some of them are still on Facebook, but my son is just like, Mom, Facebook. And
that's for old people.
Right. But this TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, young people know about this social media. So you could, that could be training for them in terms of sales, marketing, and advertising. Grab a young person. Okay, I've got this new restaurant, or I've got, this t-shirt business and I need to get the word out. Can you help me, get the word out, help set up my social media pages for my businesses. And then that way you're giving them training that they can use as a foundation for the future. Put it on their resume that they were a social media strategist for, ABC Black-owned business.
Yep, that's right. And Sister Starla, you're absolutely right. I can recall, for those of us who've been around, I can recall a time in media, especially dealing with certain organizations and businesses, where there was this moment of straight fear. Like print publications was like, what is the future going to look like? How are we going to survive? How is this going to, they would, and some, of course, shut down. Right. Right. And so some of us kind of innately knew that there was going to be a generation that's going to come up, that's going to master this because they're growing up in it, right? Where it was a shock to us, right?
Right.
You know, for those of us, man, what? Hotmail, Yahoo, email, what?
Right,
We can
exactly.
email stuff? What?
Right.
That was mind-boggling.
Right. I'm like, what happened to the fax machine? It's like, who,
right, right. So Brother Ben X and Dr. Jacob Taylor and that whole ABS tribe and the Black World Order, those young brothers, man, they are doing it. And not only do they know how to master the use of your phone to build a brand and to make money, but they know how to teach it to others and have, man, the community they've developed to help support and promote entrepreneurism is absolutely amazing. So, and that's one thing that as those of us who are a little bit more seasoned, man, we have to be humble enough and be able to recognize the God, even if the God is younger than us, right?
Right.
God is not a respecter of age.
Right.
God is in all of us, regardless of age. So, man, when you see God shining, boy, you better bow down and learn what you can learn. So them young guys, man, are doing it on all kind of levels and remaining who they are, right? They're being true to themselves. So I love it. I'm learning a lot from them that I'm taking, and it's taking me to other levels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, and again, like you said, being able to learn, from the newer generation and, the fact that, they've got, such a following on social media, constantly engaging with their audience, because you can't just, send out one post or one tweet and then like kind of sit back and like wait. That's a whole science in and of itself in terms of, social media. It's not just one post and then, where my customers at.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And that post has to be of value.
Right.
You have to give. If you give from value, even if it's just a smile or it's a word of inspiration or it's a bit of information that helps them to do something better.
Right.
If you do that over a period of time, it's like a rubber band. It's going to come back to you if you pull it right. And then they're willing to pay for stuff that you offer because you've given them so much.
Exactly.
But that's a whole change in the paradigm. And some folks, it's a little bit harder to get that than others because how are you gonna make money when you're giving everything away? You're giving your information, you're giving this away. No, it's some science to it, and it's beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, I want to make sure I don't forget to mention our dear brothers and sister, brother Yahya and sister Touré Muhammad are doing it again. They are in the elite group now of Black businesses in Chicago that have more than one location. There's not that many people. There's not that many Black-owned businesses that have more than one location, but they have just opened up in the West Fulton market. I think that's Time Out Chicago. Time Out Chicago is a market over there on 916 West Fulton Market. So, man, shout out to what they're doing. And when you go over there, brothers, it's a different experience. Right. They have some of their gourmet. They don't have all of the flavors over there. These are some of the select gourmet flavors that you may not even be familiar with that you can get over there at 916 West Fulton Market. Nice. So get by there and check them out over there. And man, shout out to what they're doing. They're doing it, boy.
Yes. Excellent. Get some of that delicious Jean Michel's ice cream. I might have to take a road trip into the city.
Yes, ma'am. Have you had the Saj ice cream?
I have not. You know what, Brother Touré? I really need to break out of my little shell because I fell in love with the Jamaica rum raisin the first time I had it, and I'm almost ashamed to admit it. I've never tried another flavor because I love that one so much. So I'll have to next time I go. I've got to branch out. Is that what you're telling me?
Every time you go, get something different.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now I'm not gonna tell you to do what I would do because that's my problem. I would get my Jamaican rum raisin and I'm gonna get and I'm gonna get something. But not just that's my problem right there. So, but try some. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy it, and
Yes, sir.
You know, and you appreciate the Jamaican rum raisin when you come back to it, right?
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
It'd be like a long lost friend. But that Sajda ice cream, it's like basically it's bean pie ice cream. It's like if the bean pie was ice cream, right? Now, and it's smooth, right? There's been, you know, we may have done this at home, and he had one where he kind of put the chunks of the bean pie in the ice cream, which was delicious. But this is totally different. It is just smooth, and you just taste the whole bean pie in every scoop. So, Blitz, we got to go to a quick break, and we're going to be right back with more of the Touré Muhammad Show. And we got a few more things to talk about before we close out.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
If I tell them to blow, I keep that metal stuff. That's how we ride in Chicago.
Alderman Lopez, welcome back to the Maze Jackson Show. The mayor has a very peculiar way she's dealing with this, and I'm trying to understand, why does it seem like we're handling this with kid gloves?
The reason that she's not going after the root cause, which is gangs, the reason she's not calling out the silent enablers, as I tweeted out the other day, is because those are many of the same people that she relied on to get elected. I'm talking about the not-for-profits, those that reach out for grants and try to be the intermediaries in a community to try and bridge some of these anti-violence groups, things of that nature. These organizations that say they're trying to build bridges oftentimes are the ones that are enabling the gang lifestyle and allowing it to go unchecked and not holding accountable the individuals causing the violence in the neighborhoods. Those same partners, which she funds, which she relies on, were unceremoniously all pimping themselves out at a press conference.
Ooh.
Saying nobody said a word about gangs, but what they did say is that we need more money for the programs that we offer to help stop the violence. And clearly for more money to go to organizations that are working against the residents of the city of Chicago.
Alderman, how did y'all approve $37 million to go to one ward for violence prevention? $37 million? I don't think there's been a $37 million investment in anything black.
When these amendments to the budget and when these programs come before us, and I've asked the last time that these were proposed by the administration, what metrics are we using to ensure that everyone with their hand out was not still enabling gangbangers in the middle of the night? And oftentimes have intervened on behalf of gangbangers, particularly in the Latino community. When you see in other communities, like the black community, when you start doling out contracts to, say, Metropolitan Family Services, and now they're responsible for doling out to organizations to come into neighborhoods like, for example, West Englewood, contract out to organizations that have no connection to a community, build no bridges to a neighborhood, but get $300,000 to stop violence.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
You gotta know that it's over. I gave all of me. My heart is empty. You promised you would change. You said forever, you and me. Look at what you've done to me. I'm torn apart. I'm picking up the pieces you left to me. How selfish could you be?
All right. We are back. The last half hour of the Touré Muhammad Show, we have on Sister Starla Muhammad. I've hijacked her. I've held her hostage. So she's gonna hang out for this next half an hour with us, or about 20 minutes. And anything else that you want to highlight from the final call? I do have a story that I want to share with you, and I want to get your feedback on it. Something that was in the news. But anything else in the final call?
Yes, I would like to direct your listeners and viewers to another article in the current issue of the paper, the Staple Goods Project and Founders Day virtual event, July 3rd and 4th. And so the Staple Goods Project is coordinated by Dr. Ridgely Abdul Muhammad, who is the director of Muhammad Farms down in Brownwood, Georgia, and his lovely wife, Sister Ann Muhammad. And so the Staple Goods Project gives you an opportunity to order some farm products in bulk, and also staple goods, meaning, for example, a 100-pound bag or 50-pound bag of navy beans. They've got various types of rice. They've got lentils. They've got honey that you can buy. And so I would encourage folks, when hard times are coming, not to come, but many times they're already here. But you want to have something in your pantry, some staple goods that, when times get rough, hey, I've got some navy beans in there. I've got some lentils. I've got something that I can still make a healthy and nutritious meal for my family. And so there'll be a virtual event July 3rd and 4th to celebrate. This is the 10th year of the Staple Goods Project. And then also, it is also coinciding with Founders Day at the farm down in Brownwood, Georgia, and which, of course, is owned and run by the Nation of Islam, over 1,500 acres. So you can find more information about the virtual event on the website for the Ministry of Agriculture, and that website is www.noimoa.org. Again, www.noi for Nation of Islam, MOA for Ministry of Agriculture.org. So you don't want to miss that virtual event. And then also there's information on there about if you are interested in ordering something from the Staple Goods Project. I know I've ordered lentils from there. I've ordered, I think, 2 different types of rice. I've got some parboiled rice. My husband really likes honey because he drinks a lot of tea. So we ordered some of that. And also Sister Ann makes a delicious, it's a cream of wheat mix. And so part of what they do at the farm as well, for example, Dr. Ridgely talks about value added products. So you may grow some wheat. Okay, well, what are some products now that I can make from that wheat? So there's this delicious cream of wheat muffin mix that Sister Ann made. And all you have to do, I believe, is just add like an egg and maybe some water or milk, mix that up, put it in your little muffin tins, and they are delicious, Brother Tory. So we grabbed on that.
Man.
That is a delicious addition for that bean soup. If you get some of that Sister Ann's muffin mix, it'll set it off. And they
Sister
actually
Starla, I'm about to hop out my seat right now. That's my thing right there, boy. Of course, I use the cream of wheat or the farina muffin farina, but I didn't know they had that.
Yep.
And so how did I miss that? So I can't wait to get that and make me some muffins.
Right. And I think the order comes in maybe 6 little packets, and each packet you can make, if you want, a dozen, or if you like the bigger muffins and do 6. But it's a delicious
about 4 or 5 of them boxes.
Yes, sir. And then you can order some sifted whole wheat. So for those who love to bake, whether it's bread, pies, different pastries, things like that. So again, check out the website and tune in for the virtual event to celebrate the Staples Goods Project as well as Founders Day from Muhammad Farms.
Sister Starla, you just don't know, man. This is why I love our nation. And, people don't get it sometimes because it seems like for every problem that our community has, the nation can say, oh yeah, so we're doing something. Now we're not, we got a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, but we have started so many things. When we talk about GMO, when you talk about the problems of the food sources and how we got people who are taking food, growing it in America, sending it to China, then bringing it back, and then it gets on our table finally. When we're talking about the idea and the principle of from the farm to the table,
right?
And having people that care about you being the producing side of it,
exactly,
and that's so critical and so important to eat and to live. So, man, so people just, a lot of people still don't know that all the farmland that we have in different parts of the country, and what we're doing to start providing food for ourselves. And it ain't just for the nation. Anybody can get some of this good food. So I can't wait to make my next order and make sure I get those muffins in there so I can post those.
Right.
And then along the way, this is like with Black Chicago Eats, one of the things I envision is being able to encourage and all of our restaurants, right, to be able, and it's got to be economical, it's got to be easy for them because they're dealing with a lot. But if we can be a source to provide fresh fruits and vegetables for the products that they make, the dishes that they make, then how much more better is that going to be? We know what we're getting oftentimes when we go to the foodie spot, and we know some of the sources she's getting the food from. Right.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I mean, it's like that. And it's, the Sissy's Taco Bar. She's using halal chicken right now, right, for the tacos. And, of course, no beef, no pork. So those things are important, man. We don't just feed me, but I want you to understand food science and be medicinal with it so that we can help deal with these pre-existing conditions that our community faces, and use food as medicine and have it, it can taste good. We want to taste good now.
Exactly.
I don't want to eat nothing that don't taste good.
And I think you brought up such a critical point, Brother Touré, is the Black farmers. And actually, in the current issue of the paper, I'm glad you mentioned that, we have a story, Jim Crow in a form of slavery.
That's right.
And the subhead of that is a win for Black farmers is under assault as white farmers demand more resources. So, so check this out. Now we know
more resources.
Right. Now we know that historically Black farmers in this country have been discriminated against for decades at the hands of the USDA, which of course is a government agency, a United States government agency. So for years, Black farmers were denied subsidies, denied loans, denied resources that white farmers got the benefit of. And this is systemic. And of course, we know at a certain point in time, particularly even coming up out of slavery, the acreage of land and the number of Black farmers has, drastically dwindled. And so, of course, we know recently, there was 1.9 trillion in a COVID pandemic relief plan that included that aid was to go to Black, Latino, indigenous farmers. And again, you've got to understand this has been centuries of discrimination where Black farmers, were not given anything or basically pennies compared to their white counterparts. So recently, a judge in Wisconsin, basically, even though this law was passed, this judge in Wisconsin, a federal judge, basically put a halt because there was a lawsuit filed by a few white farmers who are crying now reverse discrimination because, well, we can't get any of that money because we're white. Now, you got to slow your roll a little bit. Where was this camaraderie and this feeling of, farmers being in this together when you were getting the money, but Black farmers, your Black farmer counterparts were getting shut out? But now all of a sudden, and this is just a little bit, 1.9 trillion, is it a significant amount? Depends on maybe who you would ask. You'd probably have to talk to, Black farmers to really get their take. But just the nerve of now you have a lawsuit that has been filed because white farmers are crying reverse discrimination. And now a federal judge has basically put a pause on these funds. Just shows that, again, when we try to get a little bit of gain for our people and it looks like, hey, maybe something, then here you have the rug being pulled out. So we'll have to continue to monitor this to see where it is headed. But yeah, it was a conservative law firm based in Wisconsin that took up this case on behalf of these white farmers. And so we'll continue to monitor. But for more information, this is an article also in the current issue of the Final Call written by longtime Final Call staff writer, Sister Nisa Islam Muhammad. And again, you can read that as well in the print edition as well as online. But, again, the road to justice for the Black man and woman in America is once again looking like it's going to be elusive because, white farmers are now, crying foul, even though they've been getting the money all of these years.
Yep. And see, I think it's important for us to remember and to recognize that a lot of the discriminations and issues that we face, it's been government sanctioned.
Right.
Right. Whether we're talking about housing, right? When you talk about veterans coming home from World War I and World War II and not being able to get a VA loan, right? Because they were Black, because the banks didn't give them the loan, and the VA department didn't question how come it was only white people getting the loans, right? And then how that was a generational wealth creator right there that we were not allowed to get into. So all these Black men and some women who were veterans, not able to get a loan to get a home and still having to rent and die without building anything for their families, no equity in the home, right? And when you talk about medical discrimination, medical racism,
exactly,
government sanction, right? Some of these situations happen where women were getting hysterectomies happen in prisons,
right?
They were prisoners and were without their knowledge or their consent, having that done to them. And, and unfortunately we think that, maybe they deserved this and they was in prison. There's no outcry for things like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes what happens in the prisons to our people. So
yes,
it's all we have to do something. We have to stand up. That's why I love this brother's T-shirt right here, Jesse.
Oh yes, sir. Yep.
We are our own solution.
That's right.
Of course, that is echoing the spirit, the message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I thank them for teaching us some very basic things that we need to know. The knowledge of ourselves, the knowledge of the enemy to self, the knowledge of God, and the knowledge of the time and what must be done.
Yes.
So,
and one thing, go ahead.
Now, I was going to ask, no, go ahead. Then we got a few minutes. I want to talk about this last piece right here.
Oh, yes, sir.
About IKEA serving watermelons and chicken on Juneteenth.
I heard about that. But just wanted to point out one of the things that Sister Nisa Islam touched on in this article is she said under the Trump administration, nearly all of the $9.2 billion bailout provided to farmers in 2020 went to white farmers. According to the Environmental Working Group, white farmers received $6.7 billion of that, which is 99%, in coronavirus food assistance program payments, while white farmers received $15 million, which is 0.1%, and Latino farmers $100 million. So under the Trump administration, literally, and this has been a pattern, Black farmers received pennies compared to their white counterparts. But under this new administration, additional funds that are specifically earmarked because of that historical discrimination. But again, now the white farmers are crying foul. It was cool when they got the 99% of the funds. That was great for them.
Right.
But now that they see, blacks and indigenous farmers having an opportunity to get, some funds that they are owed, that they are due, long overdue. Now, this lawsuit comes about. So
ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So IKEA. So Juneteenth, they decided that they were going to have a celebration and honor and recognize Juneteenth with their staff. And on the menu, two of the main items was chicken and watermelon. So what do you think about that, Sister Styler? You heard about this, right?
I did. I heard about this. And I think, again, it goes because IKEA aren't their origin, I want to say, is it Switzerland? Where
it is Switzerland or Germany, one of those two. It's definitely one of those two. I was thinking Germany, but it might be Switzerland.
Again, there's so many things that come to mind, Brother Toy, but but I will say this again. I think if you don't, I don't know who makes the marketing decisions, whether it's at the corporate level or whether it's at the store level. Mm-hmm. But I think I may be right when I say they may not have, black folks who are on their marketing or team, or their team that comes up with different strategies.
Mm-hmm. It was some black folks in the room. They said they're in the room, but did that, were they in the room like, serving the drinks and the coffee to the executives, or right?
Did anyone think, what? Maybe this is something we need to rethink. I think that is some of the concern that I've seen expressed, even with the federal recognition of Juneteenth as a federal holiday, that there were concerns of the commercialization, and then if you have corporations now in a rush to, show, solidarity or support, are we going to see things like this? Like we're in a rush to, we're going to show that we're supporting black folks and Juneteenth, and this is important. So they just throw something out there without giving it a second thought.
Yeah.
And I think when that happens, then you run into things like this. Now, I, for one, I like watermelon on a hot,
yes,
summer day. Oh, trust me, if I see the watermelon, man, get some seeds. I need seeds in my watermelon.
Got to have seeds. I'm going to look for one today.
And I throw down on some wings, on some chicken. So it's not that we as black folks don't partake, but we also know that there's a history and a stereotype, that an imagery that comes along. When you're promoting certain things.
That's right.
So you just have to be mindful of that. And if there were black people in the room who had a voice and went along with it, that says some things. Or if you have black folks in the room that maybe objected to it, but they were ignored, that says some things as well.
That's right. That's absolutely right. It's context and it's content and it's it's where it's coming from. All of that matters,
right?
And understanding and dealing with the nuances. And you're absolutely right. Those are two things that are part of our community. And we're gonna close on this because we got to close the show. But do you know, Sister Starla, that initially, right after slavery, black folks was selling watermelon and using it to make a lot of money and becoming independent. And so before that, the watermelon had a stereotype that was more connected in Europe, Italy, I think even in Egypt, and it was associated with poor Italians and poor Arabs, right? But then they transposed that stereotype and placed it on us because they saw us using that watermelon to make money, and it was easy to grow. So they wanted to separate us. And they knew they could, of course, they could come fight and bomb and attack us in that kind of way. But they got into our head and made us feel bad about enjoying watermelon and then associated it with the negative connotations that could come with it. It makes you lazy. It's dripping. It's messy and dirty, right? So they made it, and they used that in media. to make that a stereotype that made us feel ashamed for something that is actually, quite refreshing and quite full of,
right, exactly.
it helps with when you're dehydrated, all that stuff.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, that's the end of the show. Sister Starla, thank you for being on the show with us today. We appreciate you.
Sir.
And with that being said, man, never forget, brothers and sisters, that as long as we got a bowl of bean soup, you've got half. Peace.
WIFTV PM.